First of all, I know I need a haircut. It's coming. Second of all, the question I'm getting more of now than anything is about the Canon Speedlite 600EX. Is it worth the value? The short answer on this is if you are a pro photographer or a semi-pro photographer who's doing portrait work and you're using off-camera flash once a week, it's going to be worth the investment. Now the cost difference between the 600 and the 580EX2 right now, the list price for the 600 is about $630, $640. The list price for the 580, it's around $499, about $500. So you're looking at about a cost difference of about $130 bucks. I hate to be the bearer of bad news on this. The problem with the 600 is that the radio controlled features will only work if you have 2 units. And what this means is you have to either get 2 600s, which is going to cost you $1,200, $1,300, or you have to get 1 600 with an ST-E3 dedicated transceiver. Okay, that's made for the 600. That lists at about $350 to $400 depending on where you get it. So the bad news on this is to use the radio controlled features, you're going to have to spend at least $1,000. And if you're going to do it right, I would recommend 2 600s and the ST-E3, which amounts to about $1,700. That is a tremendous investment to take advantage of these radio features. I know some of you will probably say, well, the 600 is compatible with the 580, and this is true. The 600 has optical features in it that will allow you to use it with the 580 and the 430. The problem is you cannot mix and match radio features with the optical line of sight features. So if you think you can get a 600, just one 600, and use it with your current flash systems, it's not going to work that way. It's essentially another 580 Speedlite. It would be probably worth it to talk about what some of the advantages are of having a radio controlled transceiver. Again, the 600 can do both radio controlled and optical controlled, but what are we getting with that radio controlled stuff? The first thing is distance. The 580EX is rated at about 30 feet. The truth of the matter is it's really closer to about 20 feet, and I don't know why, but I've never really been able to get past that 20-foot mark consistently. So the radio transceiver is going to allow you to get up to 100 feet. So if distance is important to you, the 600 is definitely the way to go. To be honest, I haven't shot over 20 or 30 feet very often, and when I do, I usually throw a pocket wizard onto my Speedlite, and it works great. Another advantage that I love about the 600 is it works non-direct line of sight. And when I say that, the 580 requires that the master and the slave can see each other and talk and communicate with each other. You don't need this with the 600. The 600 could be behind your subject. It can be partially blocked by maybe a wall or something, and it's going to work. In fact, most of the time when I had those, a master and a slave linked together, I had very, very few misfires. And so that's something I really, really do like about the 600. It seems to be more reliable on the radio transceiver portion. There is a pretty dang good argument, for doing lots of wireless work to invest that extra money. Some of the other features that I really, really like on the 600 include the dedicated wireless button. This makes it really fast and really easy to go from standard mode to master to slave. The 580EX2 required that you pushed and held the button for a couple seconds. It was kind of a pain. There is also a new feature that will allow you to turn a slave unit into a remote trigger for your camera. Your camera has to have a master on the unit itself, but that will allow you to turn it into a very long remote control, up to 100 feet. Real quick to summarize the compatibilities, the 600 has both optical and radio controlled transceivers, which means you can use it with the 580 or the 430. The ST-E2 transmitter is an optical only transmitter, which means it'll work in optical mode with the 600. It will not work in the radio mode. The ST-E3 transmitter is a radio controlled device only. There is no optical control in it, so that will only work with the 600. I suspect we're going to see like a lower end radio controlled flash, something comparable to the 430, but as of this recording, we have no information about this, and I'm sure it'll be a couple months and we'll see it. Now, having given you all of that information about the new Speedlite, I have to throw a wrench into all of this because there's another answer that we have to carefully consider, and that is the value, the bang for your buck that you're getting. If you are interested in value, my recommendation to you would be eBay. Go to eBay and do a search for the 580EX or the 580EX2, and what you will see is there is a significant market there for used Speedlites. In fact, a lot of them are in fantastic condition. Even further, many of those are very affordable. We're talking about in the range of $150 to $200. 3 580 Speedlites are going to be a much better value than one 600EX that you can't even use the radio features unless you buy another one. That's a much better value. 90 to 95% of the time, you're going to be shooting within this range. Yeah, the direct line of sight's a bit of a pain sometimes, but in most cases, it's going to get the bulk of your work done. If you need to extend it, throw a Pocket Wizard on there. Now again, this is for those of you who are interested in value. Now, if you found this video helpful, you are definitely going to want to check out one of my crash courses on the Speedlites. I have a 580 and 430 EX crash course that's been out for several years, and it's very highly rated and reviewed. And I just finished my 600 EX crash course. Both of these videos are going to save you a tremendous amount of time and frustration in learning your Speedlites, and you can order them from the following link.